two bones which are present in the forearm. There is the radius and ulna, and between them is the interosseous membrane. And you can see here the posterior border of the ulna is subcutaneous. Okay, so it is forming the medial division between the anterior and posterior compartment. Whereas the fascia here attached to the radius, okay, which divides the anterior and posterior compartments. So the picture of the forearm after removal of the skin and the muscles in the front of the forearm. What are they? From lateral to medial side. First, they are divided into superficial and deep groups. In the superficial compartment, you have these 5 muscles which are counted from named from lateral to medial side. Okay, there is the pronator arteries, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, and flexor digitorum superficialis. The flexor digitorum superficialis is actually deep to these muscles. Okay, especially these above 3 muscles. And deeper muscles are flexor pollicis longus, flexor digitorum profundus, and pronator quadratus. These are the muscles in the anterior compartment, arranged in 2 layers, superficial and deep layer. This is the organal picture showing the muscles, the pronator arteries, flexor carpi radialis, then palmaris longus, flexor digitorum superficialis, and even here the what is that? Flexor carpi ulnaris and the deep muscles. Again, separate picture showing the vacuums. So blood supply, you all know there are 2 arteries, ulnar and radial arteries. So ulnar artery, it gives a big branch in the forearm. There is the common interosseous artery, which in turn divides into anterior interosseous and posterior interosseous. Anterior interosseous structure supplies the deeper structures, whereas the direct muscular branch from the ulnar artery will be supplying the superficial structure. Whereas posterior interosseous artery will be supplying the posterior compartment. Okay, whereas the rest of the artery they go to the arm. And how about the nerves? How does the median nerve enter the forearm? Median nerve enters the forearm between the 2 heads of pronator arteries. Okay, there it gives a branch. It's called the anterior interosseous artery, which supplies the deeper muscles, whereas other muscles are supplied by the same median nerve, except flexor carpi ulnaris and medial half of the flexor digitorum profundus, which are supplied by the ulnar nerve. How does the ulnar nerve enter the forearm? Between the 2 heads of flexor carpi ulnaris. Clear? So this is the posterior compartment of the forearm, or also called the extensor compartment. There also again you have superficial muscles and then deep muscles. So you have 11 muscles there in the posterior compartment. So we'll just look into those muscles. So the superficial, you have muscles again from lateral to medial side. You have the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, and then extensor carpi ulnaris. What are they? I repeat: brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, and extensor carpi ulnaris. Okay. Where the deep muscles are supinator, abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis longus and brevis, and the extensor indicis. So these are the muscles, deep muscles. Okay. So these are about 6 plus 5, 11 muscles. So in the previous picture, you can show it. You can see the structures here. So right from the lateral to medial side again, right from the first, what is the brachioradialis. Okay. So brachioradialis, then 2 carpi radialis muscles, extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. So this is the extensor carpi radialis. So this is the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, and then you have the extensor digitorum. Okay, and then extensor, what is that? It goes for your digiti minimi, and then the extensor carpi
in this position,
ulnaris.
This picture in this position, like this.
Yeah, extensor muscles. They are counted from again lateral to medial side, because as I said, it appears like almost twisting. So medial compartment starts from here and go like this. But the extensor compartment starts from here and then go like this. Okay. And the deeper muscles are 2 for the pollicis. Okay, extensor pollicis longus and pollicis brevis, and 1 abductor pollicis longus, and 1 the supinator, and then what is that? Extensor indicis. Where is the extensor indicis? Deeper. Okay, you can make out here extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus, and abductor longus. You can see it here. They run superficial to these tendons. See that? Especially this abductor pollicis and extensor pollicis brevis muscles. They run, even though they are deep muscles, their tendon lies superficial to the superficial muscles. Am I clear? So these are the tendons of extensor carpi radialis, brevis, and even the longus. Okay? Whereas these two muscles, they belong to deeper group, right? Extensor pollicis brevis and then abductor. Even though they are deep, their tendon lie above the superficial tendons. Above the superficial tendons, because they have to cross to the thumb. That's why they cross over those muscles to reach the thumb. So that is about the deep muscles. There. Yes, this one, extensor, very deep, only tendon is seen. Okay. This is one more picture showing the same muscles, what I explained. This is again one more picture showing the individual muscles. Now, nerve on the back you have the radial nerve. Radial nerve supplying all these muscles. All the muscles in the back of the forearm are supplied by the radial nerve. So, some little again story about the median nerve I already explained. So, in the cubital fossa it lies medial to the brachial artery, then enters the forearm between the two heads of prominent arteries. There it gives one branch, anterior interosseous nerve, which runs along the anterior interosseous artery over the anterior surface of the interosseous membrane, supplies the deep muscles, whereas the rest of the median nerve continues between this term superficialis and profundus muscles. Okay, and then supplies the many muscles in the all the muscles in the front of the forearm except your ulnaris and medial half of profundus, and then enters the hand by passing deep to retinaculum, flexor retinaculum, that is within the carpal channel. So it's the same story. And about the ulnar nerve, that's what anterior interosseous nerve. So I was talking you about the ulnar median nerve injuries at two sides. What are they? One is the supracondylar fractures, and one is at the carpal tunnel, and you give rise to your ape-like hand. So as you can see here, these thenar muscles are paralyzed, which are supplied by median nerve, so it looks flat. So now the ulnar nerve, so it enters the forearm, just lies behind the medial epicondyle, enters the forearm between the two heads of flexor carpi ulnaris, runs along with that your ulnar artery. Okay, here in the forearm it supplies ulnaris and medial half of the profundus. That enters the hand by superficial to flexor retinaculum, and there divides into, again morning I told you, superficial and deep branches. So this is the area of territory of the ulnar nerve, 1.5 finger, and even the hypothenar eminence. Whereas median nerve 3.5, right? And any injury to the ulnar nerve, especially behind the medial epicondyle or even in front of your what is that? Flexor retinaculum, is more superficial. So the deformity resulting is the claw hand deformity. And then the radial nerve back in front of your lateral epicondyle divides into two branches, superficial branch and then deep branch. So deep branch is also called as the posterior interosseous nerve. Superficial branch, mainly cutaneous, supplies the skin on the back of the forearm as well as this 3.5 finger except the distal phalanx. Okay, and the deep posterior interosseous supplies all the muscles in the back of the forearm. So those 11 muscles are all supplied by radial nerve. So now any injury to the radial nerve, mainly here in the fractures of the shaft of the humerus, where it is running in the spiral groove. So if there is any fractures there, or even compression of that, as is studying in the Saturday night palsy, or even crutches when it is injured in the axilla. So resulting deformity is the wrist drop, unable to extend the wrist because of the paralysis of all the extensor muscles. So wrist drop, claw hand, ape hand for the 3 nerves. So this is again one more slide explaining different nerves, their pores, and the muscles they are supplied by them. Okay. So musculocutaneous nerve, nerve of the anterior compartment, supplying coracobrachialis, biceps brachii, and part of the brachialis. Okay, radial nerve, triceps, and even all the extensor muscles. Ulnar nerve, no branches in the arm, no branches of the even medial nerve in the arm. So in the forearm, front of the forearm muscles by medial nerve except ulnaris and half of the digitorum profundus. In the hand, medial nerve supplies 5, rest all by ulnar. Radial nerve will not supply any muscle in the hand, only in the back of the arm and back of the forearm. So what are the muscles which are supplied by medial nerve in the hand? Thenar muscles except
adductor and first, second ulnar muscle, lumbrical muscle.
They are supplied by medial nerve. So rest all by deep branch of your ulnar. So that's all about the. So this is what is the flexor retinaculum. So which is nothing but a thickening of the deep fascia which is there in the front of the wrist, attached between the your carpal bones. Okay, scaphoid and lunate and captate and hamate and the pisiform bone. So this flexor retinaculum converts the front of the your wrist into a tunnel. Okay, so because there is a concavity on the ventral side, because of the arrangement of the carpal bones, which is this concavity is bridged by this flexor retinaculum, making into a tunnel in which you have the passage of many tendons and even the nerve, median nerve. So that is the carpal tunnel. So there are some structures which pass superficial to the retinaculum and some structures passing deep to the retinaculum. I already showed you the slide. That is mainly the ulnar nerve and ulnar artery will be passing superficial to it, whereas deep to it are the tendons, many tendons. Okay, the tendons of the superficialis and profundus, and along with that you have a very important nerve, the median nerve running below the retinaculum. So remember those relations. And similarly the extensor retinaculum on the back of the wrist. So and then all the extensor tendons running below the retinaculum, and they are divided into compartments. Okay, like they have 5 to 6 compartments, in each compartment giving passage for different tendons. So this is about the extensor, same picture showing the extensor retinaculum and the tendons running below the, what is that? Extensor retinaculum, showing all these tendons. And what is this blue color part? What is that blue? No, I am asking this blue covering these tendons. Huh? They are the synovial membrane covering the tendons. Okay? Why they are covered by synovial membrane?
Prevent
Because they are running
friction.
tightly below the retinaculum. So whenever they move during their muscle contractions, there will be friction. To avoid that friction, these are tendons are covered by synovial membrane, so which contains your secretes or synovial fluid, which acts as a lubricant, preventing the heat formation and all. Okay, so that is about the extensor retinaculum and the tendons running below that. So same, one more slide. So that was about the forearm. Okay. So next about the